Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's good to see you all there. I look forward to this time together. You know, I know we're apart physically, but we are certainly proving we're not alone. You know, we welcome you this morning to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Northern Nevada, where it is our mission to grow together in love, faith, justice, and joy. My name is Dave Bianchi, and I serve as your worship associate today. You know, we've asked everyone to stay home and view us or hear us on your personal devices, but know that we still welcome all to be part of us, regardless of racial identity, economic circumstances, age, immigration status, sexual orientation, or gender identity. You know, if you're someone who's viewing this and it's your first exposure to us, feel free to contact our office or go on our website for more information. It's also where you can download a newcomer form. You can sign up for our newsletter that keeps you informed of all the great activities, even during this time, that go on here at UUFNN. So thank you. Thank you for being with us this morning. And now, Reverend Karen.
Good morning. We're so delighted to have you joining us today. Welcome. Just a couple of Zoom notes. I want to call your attention to your viewing options between speaker view and gallery view. Gallery view will allow you to view all those who are gathered, and speaker view will cause the speaker to fill your screen. So you're invited to explore those options. You'll remain muted throughout the service, and I'll call your attention also to the chat feature. If you click on the word chat that you find somewhere around your screen, it will open a box and you'll be able to chat into the box. And we'll use that feature during our community prayer time. You'll be invited to stay on after the service today, and you'll be put into small groups for a time of conversation and coffee hour. Welcome. We're so glad that you're here.
Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near.
We open our hearts and minds and spirits to being connected this morning wherever we are and learning new ways to connect. You're invited to get comfortable, take a few deep breaths, and settle in for a short while as we spend this time together. You're invited to access your chalice so that we can light our chalices together this morning. And I'll offer our chalice lighting words. Through the mystery of time and space and the connection of community, may the light and warmth of our chalices reach us all wherever we are and remind us that we each are loved and that we are all connected. You might remember that Scott Warren was on trial 2 different times over the last few months for harboring immigrants. And I had the opportunity to attend both of those trials and to bear witness as a clergy activist presence in the courtroom. Scott was on trial for harboring immigrants, and the first trial ended in a mistrial, a hung jury, and the US government opted to try him again. Scott's father stays in touch from time to time, and we correspond on email. And during the trial, I was struck by the use of the important concept of orientation. Prosecutors argued that Scott gave directions to immigrants crossing the border illegally, thereby harboring and helping them. Scott and his defense team argued that Scott merely helped with orientation, helping the immigrants understand where they were, and that this was an act of safety, not of harboring. The jury agreed in that second trial, and Scott was acquitted. You know, in the desert there, in the trial, they showed us maps and photos of hundreds of miles of desolate, unforgiving desert wilderness. So orientation was essential. Disorientation could be fatal. Scott Warren signs his emails with care and orientation always. When I corresponded with Scott's father a couple of weeks ago, this reminded me of this idea of orientation, and it got me to thinking about the time of disorientation that we're in right now. What we're experiencing with the virus is very disorienting. And so it is essential to anchor ourselves in orientation. Where are we right now? I'm going to invite you to try something today and over the next few days, and maybe even for a couple of moments right now, to explore this idea of orientation. I'm going to invite us to take a couple of deep breaths together and just say, I am right here, right now. To feel our feet, wiggle our toes a little bit, ground ourselves into the earth, and give ourselves the gift of orientation by saying, I am right here, right now. Over the next few days, I think it's particularly powerful and even empowering to do this outside, to look at the mountains and ground ourselves in our bodies and say, I am right here, right now. I see those mountains and I see that tree, and I know that I am right here, right now. There's something mystically comforting and empowering about that somehow. Where are we right now?
I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I got
I just love that. You know, this is the time of the service when we have an opportunity to share our bounty with each other. You know, since we're not physically together to pass that basket around, we can do so virtually by, as you see on the screen, texting 73256. You put UUFNN in the message box and hit send, and then follow the instructions to provide your offering. You can also mail a check to the office at 780 Del Monte Lane, Reno 89511. But the slickest and cleanest way to donate is just to sign up for automatic giving. So contact the office and Carol will send you an automatic draft authorization form. It's in these times when we see the real strength of our fellowship. You know, so many of our members have pulled together in some amazing ways. I just continue to witness all the volunteers who are doing so much to keep us all in touch with one another. I'm grateful for the staff who are working so hard to keep the wheels turning as we move through this time together. I'm proud of Reverend Karen and the board for keeping us safe and making decisions about our future based on the latest medical information available. You know, as evidenced by the recent auction, we've remained a strong, passionate fellowship. We really do care about one another. So much goes on behind the scenes. I want to give a shout out to the Verdi posse who are still feeding our neighbors without homes. You know, we're still doing good in the community and in the world. You know, Lois and I have been blessed and we're able to contribute an amount over our pledge this year, since we're aware that there's some who cannot make their commitment because of the current situation. So if you can join us, please contribute what you can to help. You know, many of you have responded, and I appreciate that. And I encourage more of us to do the same, to help out those who may be left behind during this time. I also want to make sure that if you want an auction item, that is paid as soon as possible so we can wrap that up. You know, I'm feeling very positive that by all of us stepping up, we'll be stronger than ever. Our annual meeting's coming up May 31 on Zoom, and you will have budget informational discussion the week before. So make sure you put both those dates on your calendar. And thank you for joining Lois and me in taking care of our beloved community. Now, let the offering begin. I would like you to join me as we bless these offerings to the work of this fellowship, which is helping more people grow in love, faith, justice, and joy. We dedicate ourselves, and these are offerings.
Indeed. Where are we right now? We're in a time of learning. Maybe we're in a time of learning about ourselves, most of all. We're in a time of waiting. We're in a time of exploring new ways. We're in a time of reflecting on what this time can potentially be about. Maybe we're in a time of developing our inner life, our inner strength. Some of us may be feeling that the pause button has been pressed on our lives. Maybe some of us have wanted that, and if so, maybe we're embracing that now. Some of us have experienced our lives ramping up and being even busier than before. And if so, what are we learning? Whichever it may be, maybe we can use this time of orientation in positive ways. It has caused me to look at what I want my ministry to look like over the next few years. It has felt like a threshold. And how do I plan to thrive in that and within it? You know, we can orient ourselves like a pinpoint on a map and then map where we are going from there. And I think it is possible to decide exactly where we are and where we are going independent of this current outward virus situation. I'm going to say that again. If we were in the great room, I would say, are you with me? It is possible that we can decide exactly where we are and where we're going independent of this current virus situation that is outward. You know, I just got to tell you, week before last when we did the diaper drive, several days I was sitting in my office and I had my door open as the weather was beautiful, and folks would drive up and get out of the car in their masks and come and drop the diapers off next to the building. And sometimes I would see them and stick my head out my door, or sometimes I wouldn't see them and people would say, Karen, are you in there? And I would go to the door and we would, from 20 feet away, just say hello and check in and see how each other was doing. And every single time that happened, I got a little teary. And it was because of you doing something for others and being so generous and so engaged and involved. And it was also just the simple act of being able to connect for a few minutes. And I can't fully put into words exactly how, but somehow that helped me locate myself within our community. It helped me find my orientation. I don't know exactly, I don't even have words for that yet, but it helped me say, I am right here, right now. And so are you. And maybe it's in the looking for things outside of ourselves that helps us get out of ourselves. You know, the pieces of our journeys that point us to who we really are almost never easy. This is hard, and we can do hard things together. And one of the things I really want to share with you today is that I don't think that we will be worshiping together in person anytime soon. You know, it's so important that we stay on the leading edge of prevention rather than encouraging spread of the virus. It's part of our living our values and part of our radical hospitality and inclusivity that we will not come back together until it's safe for everyone to come back together. And this is not the easy way, but we can do hard things together. You have done an amazing job of staying connected. Our building might be closed, but we are more connected than ever as a community, and we will continue to do just that. If you're not feeling connected, let us know so that we can help you get connected. You know, one of the hardest things in this time is, I think, the uncertainty. But even within that uncertainty, may we take the time to be intentional about orienting ourselves. Be intentional about claiming our orientation, looking around and saying, I am right here, right now, and grounding ourselves in the moment, being present to that moment, orientation and grounding. The pieces of our joint journeys that point us to who we really are, individually and as a community, are almost never easy. This is hard, but we can do hard things, and you are not alone. Blessed be for that, and amen.
When I am frightened, will you reassure me? When I'm uncertain, will you hold my hand? Will you be strong for me? Sing to me quietly. Will you share some of your stories with me? If you will show me compassion, then I may learn to care as you do. Then I may learn to care. When I am angry, will you still embrace me? When I am thoughtless, will you understand? Will you believe in me? Stand by me willingly. Will you share some of your questions with me? If you will show me acceptance, then I may learn to give as you do. Then I may learn to give.
As we join together in our time of community prayer and meditation, I'm going to invite you for a particular reason to place your view choices on gallery view so that we can see one another during this time. And I want to teach you a gesture that we will use this morning for our time of community prayer and meditation. And the way that we will do that is to place one hand on our heart and the other hand up to your camera, or just hold the hand up. And in this way, we are saying, when folks are putting their celebrations and their joys and their concerns into the chat box, in this way, we are saying, I see you, I hear you, and I extend my care to you. I hold you in this community. So one hand on heart, one hand up as we enter our prayers together into the chat box. You're invited to place your prayers in the comments and put them there as we join together in our time of community prayer and meditation, and to offer this gesture as that is happening, so that we can see one another and know that we are seen and heard and all together in this community. In this way, in the mystery of all that is, we send our love and our care out to those who are on the front lines, who continue to serve, who continue to be of help. We extend our love and care to those who are experiencing loneliness, sadness, grief, and depression. We send our love and care out to all those who are struggling, that they may find a hand to hold and a way to stay connected. We are not all in the same boat. We are all in the same storm. For some people, it's sprinkling, and this is a break. It's a breather. It's a pause in the normal. It's time to reconnect with family and slow down. It's kind of peaceful. For some, it's a storm. It's a bit scary. It's disruptive. It's enough to make you stay up and watch the news and worry. For some, it's a hurricane. It's tearing at the boards and pulling off the roof. It's washing them out to sea. It's dark and unknown and life-changing. It's not wrong to be enjoying the sprinkles or enduring the storm, but please don't negate the differences. Rest with family, but don't minimize the hurricane engulfing your neighbor. Laugh at a meme, but get on your knees for a friend. Get in someone else's storm. May we do just that for our community, for each other, for our world. Blessed be, and amen.
When I am frightened, will you reassure me? When I'm uncertain, will you hold my hand? Will you be strong for me? Sing to me quietly. Will you share some of your stories with me? If you will show me compassion, then I may learn to care as you do. Then I may learn to care. When I am angry, will you still embrace me? When I am thoughtless, will you understand? Will you believe in me? Stand by me willingly. Will you share some of your questions with me? If you will show me acceptance, then I may learn to give as you do. Then I may learn to give. When I am troubled, will you listen to me? When I am lonely, will you be my friend? Will you be there for me? Comfort me tenderly. Will you share some of your feelings with me? If you will show me commitment, then I may learn to love as you do. Then I may learn to love.
We want to thank you so much for joining us for our worship today. We're glad that you're here, and what a terrific opportunity it is to be all together and see each other. Every week it feeds me to see your faces and to feel all connected once again. Please watch your email, especially on Mondays. There's programming that happens every week, and it's different every week. So I invite you to pay attention to that so that you can avail yourself of all of the offerings that we have available. If you need support of any kind, Zoom or errands or anything at all, or if you know someone who does, would you please let us know that so that we can reach out and keep folks in connection with whatever support is needed. If you're new to us and you're not on our email list, please do fill out the newcomer card, which is in the chat box now, so that we can add you to our email list and keep in touch with you. And please do share our worship link with those that you know near and far who could use this time of connection as an uplift in their week. I want to let you know that our posse is continuing, even in this time, to make it a priority and a commitment to feed our hungry neighbors. And they have figured out how to do this safely. And the way that it happens is they prepare takeaway meals in sacks, And they go to the site and they put out tables and they cover the tables with these meals. And then they step back and they're in masks, and the folks who are receiving the meals come forward and take the meals one at a time, keeping distance from each other. And in that way, they are continuing to, as safely as possible, feed our hungry neighbors every Wednesday. And I'm so proud of that. And you have been so very generous in bringing juice and granola bars and snacks. The posse wants to thank you very, very, very much for that. And they have enough at this time to take them through at least June 10th. So if you have some that you've already purchased, you can go ahead and bring it by, but we're going to hold off collecting a lot more until June 10th. So we want to thank you so much for your generosity in keeping that going so that we can continue to feed those who need it the most on Wednesday evenings. I also want to say a special thank you this morning to our tech crew who are so committed and steadfast to making this Zoom gathering happen every week. I want you to know that it takes 3 people behind the scenes to make these gatherings happen. And I want to say a special thank you to all of those people who have volunteered their time and their services. It takes hours of preparation to put this together every week. Especially Philip Moore and Daniel Pinato, right from the beginning, have stepped up and helped us learn what we needed to do and how to do it, and have made this happen. Even this morning, there were Zoom problems all across the country, and we were concerned and trying to figure out what to do, and luckily they were rectified by the time of our service on the Pacific Coast. But our tech people are on it and working with problems on a consistent basis and helping us all have this time together. So Danielle Miles is also on this morning running the slides, and it just takes a tremendous commitment to do that every week with the rehearsals that we have and the debriefs, and I just can't thank you enough. So I wanted you to know that there's every week 3 people behind the scenes making this happen. If we could just offer our tremendous thanks to all of them for the time and the gifts of themselves that they are giving every week. Once again, thank you so much for joining us for this time together this morning. I hope that you have received something that you needed from this time together. We'll close our service by singing that wonderful song from Emma's Revolution, Sing People Sing, that gives us so much hope. And then you'll be invited to stay on for coffee hour for conversations in small groups, and you'll need to accept that invitation when it comes on. Let's join together for Sing People Sing.
When I was 4, I had a toy made of plastic and of joy, a magic musical machine from a drum, a stick and strings. I couldn't know as I would play, I'd live to meet the man one day, playing songs that shaped my life, taught the world to sing. Oh, hear the banjo ring, hear the people sing. Hope changes everything. Sing, people, sing. The summer of my 18th year, in San Francisco he'd appear. I jumped onto a trolley car, alone and wondering. The grove was full when I got there. People came from everywhere. I climbed a redwood by the stage to watch the reveille. Oh, hear the banjo ring, hear the people sing. changes everything. Sing, people, sing. Years went by, I got a call, festival in early fall, on the Hudson River shore, harvest gathering, asking me to volunteer to keep the river clean and clear, to celebrate the river's life and all the gifts she brings. Oh, hear the banjo ring, hear the people sing. Oh, changes everything. Sing, people, sing. Stood up to McCarthy's rage, rallied for a living wage, rode with Woody, marched with Dr. King. Patiently brought us along, taught us each and every song. Told you by your side, you could do almost anything. 'Cause I observed your dimming light, felt a spark in me ignite, and I would trade it all today to hear your banjo ring. Oh, hear the banjo ring, hear the people sing. Oh, changes everything. Sing, people, sing. Oh, hear the banjo ring, hear the people sing. Oh, changes everything. Sing, people, sing. Sing, people, sing. Sing, people,
Beloved, indeed, hope changes everything. And I just feel the need to say to you today that I love you so much. The pieces of our journey that point us to who we really are almost never easy. This is hard. And we can do hard things together. You are not alone, and you are immensely loved. Blessed be, and amen.